Good evening, viewers. Today we share an exclusive interview with Barbara O'Neill, the woman teaching millions how to heal naturally. Barbara is a woman whose teachings on body's design have reached millions globally. She is leading a silent revolution, reminding us all to get back to the basics. Say goodbye to fast food and preservatives, embrace the natural, whole foods, discover the powerful medicines hiding in your kitchen cabinet. And her message is simple but life changing. When we give the body what it needs, we can live happy, long lives with a minimum of modern medicine. Today we're joined by Barbara O'Neill, who is now known as, one of the biggest influencers in today's health field, because a lot of what has been talked to us earlier, are things that she has squashed, and she's come out with theories that are lean towards natural medicines. And welcome, Barbara.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Well, I'm a fifth generation Scottish descent, and I was brought up like everyone else that when you get sick, you go to the doctor, he gives you a drug, and you get better. I never doubted it. That's what everyone did. And then I trained as a nurse. And as I'm nursing, it was psychiatric nursing. I really didn't see people get better. I saw the same people come back again and again. And this puzzled me. And then I became a mother. And my first little one got an earache. And over 6 weeks, 4 courses of antibiotics, the earache kept coming back. And I felt so frustrated. I did not want to harm my child. Everyone said, she'll go deaf if you don't do anything. I don't want my child to go deaf. But how long is she going to be on this drug? But I didn't know what else to do. And I'm thankful to God this day for experiencing that, because that really what drives me, especially to help other mothers, because I'm sure there are many mothers who are in that situation. And so I began to look at what else can we do. One of the first people I talked to was the old lady next door. I'm 25, she's 85. I said, what did your mother do when you had an earache? And she introduced me to the cooked onion poultice. When I tried that on my child, he slept for 2 hours and he didn't have another one. So you, I'm sure, are not surprised that I became very, very interested in natural medicine. 6 courses, 6 weeks and 4 courses of antibiotics and a 2-hour onion poultice. What a difference. And I was like a woman possessed then. There is something else. So I began to investigate. And it was probably about maybe a year after that, after reading the Bible, I became a Christian. And then I wanted to know, how does God view this? God created this incredible body. We know it can heal. How does he view sickness? How does he view healing? And then I found beautiful verses in the Bible that God gave herbs for the service of man, the beauty of water. And of course I looked into many different cultures, and I know the Indian culture, it is rich in the herbs, in the natural remedies, and also the water therapies. And so that really was the beginning of my journey.
Yeah.
Something else happened about that time. My mother died. She was only 51, I was 25. She had rheumatoid arthritis, and over 6 years, and every drug you can imagine, medical procedure, she just got worse and worse till she was a cripple in a wheelchair, and then she died. So I also had observed that. And so that was also a big factor. So my children, what happened to my mother, and becoming a Christian, all of those almost came together about the same time. And I think we can all testify in our lives to look back and see God's beautiful timing in our lives.
Yeah. See, I've been following Barbara for the past few years, and initially I thought, where is this lady from? And the kind of treatments she was suggesting, I was quite surprised. Then I have a 90-year-old mother, and her feet get numb very often, so she finds walking very difficult. Then in one of her podcasts, she said, try applying a cayenne pepper, on with a little bit of oil, under the sole, and put a socks. So this is what I did. And then after a week, my mother said that she started feeling a slight tingling. You know, feet that are that usually become numb very fast started feeling the tingling, and it doesn't end there. I've also started doing many of her treatments, and health-wise, I find that I've improved so much. Of course, there's a lot more to do, and it's because of this I was really thrilled that Barbara is in India, and we get a chance to do an interview with her, because without realizing it, she's changing many people all around the world with her treatments. And the lovely fact about it is that you find all these treatments in the kitchen. So let me come back to you, Barbara. So also, we've heard that a lot of the medical fraternity are very upset because you're talking about things that they aren't talking about, and what they are professing. Because every time you go to a doctor, the first thing they say is either you take antibiotics, they don't try to decipher what is the disease is all about, and they just give you medicines. And then you end up thinking, did you really talk to the doctor at all? Did the doctor listen to you at all? So these are things that, worry a lot of the intelligent people all around the world. And this is something Barbara is changing. So let's ask her about this. So Barbara, I'm sure you're facing a lot of opposition from, this medical field, the pharma lobby, etc.
Well, actually, I don't see it much. I'm stopped everywhere I go, on every plane, in every airport, in every street, in every restaurant.
Yeah.
And you know what everyone says to me? Thank you. Thank you so much. And one of the ladies that stopped me in the airport in Dubai yesterday was an Indian doctor. And she said, thank you. I am using your treatments in my medical practice. And I've met doctors in Dubai that say the same thing. I think most doctors are ethical, but
Yes.
the pharmaceutical company is not.
Yes.
And I believe there seemed to be a switch over 100 years ago that medicine went largely over to pharmaceutical. And that's what I'm not in agreement with. I certainly acknowledge that in a crisis, a drug can save a life, but no drug can heal you. It's only the body that can heal us. And so the opposition I hear about, I don't actually see face to face. I believe that there are some that are opposed, but I'd like them to talk to me. I'd like them to question me. I'd like them to tell me where I'm wrong.
Absolutely. And also, Barbara, there are other, news bits that I've been listening to in India. A lot of people suffering from the last stage of cancer. They've reverted to natural cures like juices, fresh juices, having vegetables and, all fresh ingredients. And they've actually reversed what has happened. And a very well-known celebrity who spoke about his wife recovering, was attacked fiercely and said that, see, please do not spread these rumors. These are all wrong. And don't look at these people who are on YouTube spreading these kind of messages.
I'm very sorry to hear that, because freedom also applies to medical freedom. And everyone wants freedom. And God's government is a government of freedom. And freedom is based on free choice. And I am the master of my destiny. And as my husband often says, because he's a politician in Australia, he said, we're not stupid. He said, we can make our own decisions, but decisions are made according to the information we have. All I do is give information to allow people to make their own decisions. And if this man's wife recovered from cancer doing natural remedies, we need to listen.
Absolutely. And also, Barbara, one of your most famous treatments is the humble castor oil. Things that people have only taken when, they want to make a delivery, fast, or they wanted to, have ease themselves in the toilet, was something that, castor oil was used for. But now Barbara says that with castor oil, from the head to the toe, every part of your body can be treated by this very humble oil, which is rather cheap, and she explains these methods in her podcast. And this itself has changed the lives of many, isn't it?
It certainly has. Such a simple thing. I read a book by a doctor called The Oil That Heals. And I'd already been using castor oil, but he really opened my eyes because I want to know why. Why does castor oil do what it does? And the reason it does is because it penetrates very deep into the body. No other oil will do this. But wherever the castor oil penetrates, it breaks up lumps, bumps, adhesions.
Exactly.
So it can break up bone spurs, it can break up tumours, it can even on the eyes help to dissolve cataracts. And you might say, well, they're wild claims. Do you know, I only make a claim if I've seen the result.
Yeah.
And the beauty of my age is that I have been working in this field for over 4 decades now, and so I have seen it work. I have seen it breaking down. Yes, it'll break down a bone spur, but not overnight. Little by little by little, it'll help to break down unnatural formations in the body. Now we get back to Psalm 104 verse 4, where the Bible says God gave herbs for the service of man. So that explains why castor oil will break up a bone spur, but it will never break up a bone. God created in each herb something that works with the needs of the body. Yeah. We need our bones, but we don't need that bone spur. How we can fully understand that, maybe only when we're in heaven and can talk face to face with God will He explain it. But that's how it works.
Also, Barbara, the kind of food that the younger generation, the children, are eating seems to be completely wrong unless the schools are, focusing on natural foods. So today what we see is all the ads and everything that is focused on children are fast food and junk food, and also the ads. You're talking about burgers, you're talking about pizzas, you're talking about everything that is bad for the body. So in the process, what happens is obesity is on the high. And this is something we've been noticing all around the world. How do you address obesity and how do you apply it through your terms?
Well, Hippocrates, father of medicine, 400 years BC, he said, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And he didn't know the intricacies of what we know now on how the body works and what the body needs. And for the body to heal, it must have nourishment. We understand it in a plant, we understand it in a tree. What about the body? And one of the problems with young people living on junk food is the body still works. And it's like a cigarette. A person has a cigarette, they don't die from lung cancer. But eventually the damage happens, and it's exactly the same with this devitalized food. The body still seems to run. And maybe the one that's eating healthy and the one that's eating bad when they're in their 20s, not a lot of difference when they're teens. But let's snapshot further to when they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
It starts to be revealed. And then they go to the doctor and they're given a name. And it's got nothing to do with what they've been eating for the last 20 years, but it's got everything to do with it. We may not have qualifications behind our names, but you know what we've all got? We've all got something that was given to us from God, but unfortunately is not very common today. It's common sense.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say to people, you listen to your gut feeling. And by the way, when you eat that devitalized food, tell me how you feel. And you know, one girl said, I don't know. Do you know what that tells me? We've forgotten the art of listening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you got a happy stomach? Or is it bloating? Or is it repeating you? And sometimes people say, I don't know. I said, well, it's time to know. It's time to know. And Shakespeare, he said something that I think is so applicable. He said, above all else, to thyself be true.
Yeah.
That know your body. Listen to it. It will tell you.
Absolutely. Barbara, see, most people feel that there's still time to change. They don't focus on the problem there and then. They keep saying, okay, 2 years from now, I'll do this. 3 years from now, I'll do this. They never tackle it there and then. And that, I think, is one of the problems most of us face. Because if we keep eating, okay, let's have fast food today, let's have some junk food today, tomorrow we'll start fasting or dieting. But that never happens, does it?
No, it's the old saying, buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
That You can have exposure to bad food, but it doesn't end that day. It doesn't end that day. It's had an effect on every single cell in the body. And that's your brain cells, that's your eye cells, it's your lungs, it's your pancreas, it's every part of your body. And there's an old proverb that says, knowledge is easy to him that understands. And I love that proverb because that's one of the reasons I do what I do. I give people an understanding of how their stomach works, how their pancreas works, how their colon works. Then they have the knowledge on how to treat it. Because if you keep beating it up, it's going to break down.
Also, nowadays, diabetes has become such a big issue. Just about everybody is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. What would you say? Is there something like this, or can this be completely reversed?
My son said to me one day, he said, Mum, I saw a comedy show last night. You're going to like this one. He said, a man's walking along the road and all of a sudden, bang, he got diabetes. And he looked at it and he said, oh, looks like I've got diabetes. And he walked along now he had diabetes. It's a comedy show. But you know the scary thing is, it's almost reality.
Yeah.
You can't catch diabetes. You can't catch disease. It's actually many years of this devitalized food, especially the high carbohydrate, high sugar diet, that the pancreas can't keep up the pace. I often say I'm against child abuse, I'm against animal abuse, I'm against pancreatic abuse. But you know the strange thing is, most people don't know they're abusing their pancreas.
Absolutely.
It's like kicking a dog every day, but I don't realise it's hurting him.
Yeah. But how do you cleanse the pancreas?
You stop what hurts it.
And
so quickly it starts to recover. It does not like this high carbohydrate, high sugar diet. It does not like it. It causes the pancreas to overwork, and it eventually stops. And then suddenly the person's diagnosed with diabetes, but it actually isn't suddenly. It's been going on for a long time, and it is an indication too of this incredible body that bears long under abuse. But one of the problems is, and you mentioned earlier, the ads, the pushing on the television. Who funds those ads?
Exactly.
Who funds those ads? It's coming from the sugar industry, from the wheat industry. They're probably billion-dollar industries, and so they want you to keep eating their food.
Yeah.
No.
And hidden sugars and everything.
Yeah, let's just stop. Let's just stop for a moment and see where this is coming from.
Yeah. A lot of the changes, Barbara, many of us are trying it, whatever you are suggesting, and there are many other, naturopaths like you who are suggesting very, very, nutritious juices. Have them in the morning. So what I've tried is I tried the purple cabbage, green apple juice in the morning, and I've seen that the stomach loves it. You feel so good after that. But Barbara, nowadays what you see is that a lot of people say that they're suffering from autoimmune diseases. How does that come about?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because as the old proverb says, the curse causeless shall not come. No curse, no problem, no autoimmune disease happens without a cause. But one of the problems is it can be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of that, and then something like a vaccine can tip the scales, or something like living in a mouldy house can tip the scales, or something like overexposure to chemicals can tip the scales. And
chemicals as in medicines?
Chemicals as in medicine.
Or as in alcohol?
Chemicals as in our cleaning products. In our
cleaning products, yeah.
One of the things I love about India is the fabrics. Oh, I say, please, Indians, don't touch polyester, nylon and acrylic. They're chemical fabrics. Go back to your silks, your linens, your cottons. You're so well known for that.
Yeah.
Now, not only that, but also personal care products. So little by little, like the dripping tap on a stone, these chemicals are coming in, and little by little by little. And then someone has maybe a vaccine because they've been told it's going to save their life, and it can tip the scales.
And did you take the vaccine?
No, I did not. I did not, because I will not take anything into my body that will harm my body. and everything about this vaccine and everything about the media campaign behind it, warning signals went up in my brain. Something is wrong. Because I believe we live in a body that can heal itself. It does not need that.
Absolutely. So, whenever a person who's got this sort of disease goes to the doctor, they say we can't do anything about it. You just have to, live with it. Is that a solution?
It's not a solution. And I say to many people, because I've been told this many times, please reject what you've been told because it's an opinion. And it's not necessarily true. One lady said to me, I fell on my hands. She's been healing me. She said, at 6 weeks, they're still hurting. I went to the doctor. He said, you've got arthritis. Your bones will get weaker and weaker till the point where you won't be able to use your hands. So the first thing I did, I said, I do not believe that. I said, I believe that your hands will work again. I said, I believe that we live in a body that can heal itself. It just needs the right conditions. So then I went on to show a simple contrast baths, castor oil compresses overnight. I said, your body will heal. It just needs a little bit of time. And you know what it also needs? It needs us to believe that it will heal.
Yeah.
Don't believe what you've been told. One lady, she was in her 70s, she said that her doctor said she had 3 months to live. She looked at him and said, you're not God. God is the only one that knows how long I've got. And she left. I said, well done. We need to do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it is better for the doctor to say, in my opinion, because that's all it is. It's an opinion.
Yeah.
And you don't need to take that on.
Absolutely. So, what you suggest is returning to natural food, which is moving away from refined food, moving on to natural fiber, food with fiber. You're talking about vegetables, you're talking about legumes,
Yes.
you're talking about going for almond flour rather than refined flour, and also moving on to other products. So, could you just speak a little bit about this?
Well, for breakfast, I had some of your beautiful fruits. I had dragon fruit, I had grapefruit, I had some kiwi fruit,
Yeah.
and I had your beautiful cashews. I've never tasted cashews like I have in India.
Yeah.
I had some chia seeds, I had some almonds, I had the protein. And then the chef came and he said, what would you like? Would you like an omelette egg? I said, dosa. And I'm so happy that I'm in the land of dosa.
Yeah.
So
That's fermented food.
Yes, my breakfast was high in fibre. It had great proteins and some dal and the nuts and great fats, which I'm sure were in the dosa and also in the nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
So it's food that will nourish the body. I have a busy day today, and I know my busy day is dependent on me giving the right fuel to my body. And I saw an ad one day in America of a young man next to the fanciest car and some sort of fuel. He said, I only want the best for my car. I would like an ad next to that of that same young man pointing to fruits and vegetables and legumes and nuts and seeds saying, I only want the best for my body.
Best for my body.
Because if that car crashes,
Yeah.
if he gives that car poor fuel, it'll break down, we'll just buy another. But what about this body?
Absolutely. You've also sort of made people aware that growing old, you don't necessarily need to have sparse hair or grey hair. Even that, through nutrition, you can change. And through the different oils. You've also spoken about the different kind of oils that can help hair. Could you speak about this? Because everybody says, when you grow naturally old, you'll have pains, you'll have aches, you'll have grey hair, you'll have wrinkles. Now you reversed all this through your, talks.
Not necessarily so. We do age, and I do have a few grey hairs coming, and if I put my glasses on and I look in the mirror, I see some wrinkles coming. But the problem is people are aging too quickly, far too quickly. And I am 73 this year, and people say, you go at such a pace. How long will you do this? I say, I don't know, but when it gets hard, I'll start to back off a little bit. And it surprises me that I'm still able to do what I'm able to do at my age. And I love to be an illustration that you don't necessarily have to have aches and pains. I have no aches, I have no pains. The body works. They say, what supplements do you take? I say, nothing. They say, what medication do you take? I say, nothing. I live in a body that I know was created to heal. Aging does happen, but unfortunately it's happening too fast today.
Is it because of people's impatience with time? They want these quick fixes. If you've got grey hair, you quickly dye your hair. If you've got wrinkles, you put Botox or all these plastic surgery methods. So are people being impatient and they don't want to wait? Whereas your methods take time. For example, if you tell me about castor oil, on your liver, packages. If you use that, it takes almost a month to see the effects. So whatever you suggest takes time. So are people impatient? They say that, see, Barbara talks about things that take time, whereas I want quick fixes. Is that also a problem?
Yes, it is. And you know what? Took time to get sick. Took time to get sick. I say to some people, you've been doing it wrong for 20 years. I've got some very good news. It won't take 20 years to undo. So putting that in the people's minds, it won't take 20 years to undo, but it may take 2 years to undo. Now that's pretty quick. 2 years is quicker than 20. So it's putting that view in the mind. And I'll bring you also back to buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
That the quick fixes might mask a problem, but they do not heal a problem.
Absolutely.
And one of the problems with drugs, there are a few problems with drugs, is that every drug has a side effect.
Yeah.
And there are people who are sick and dying from the side effects of the medication they took because it gave a quick fix. I'll give you an illustration. I had plantar fasciitis. It's plantar fasciitis, big long name. Our plantar fascia is it's like a tendon in the bottom of our foot, and it got inflamed. And I went to the doctor because it just wasn't healing. He said, you've got plantar fasciitis. He said, that'll take months to heal. And I thought, well, I'll change that. And I did the contrast bars, the hot, the cold, the hot, the cold. I got great relief from it. And it was not long before I had no pain and I was walking well. But we had a guest. She said, I've got plantar fasciitis. She was limping everywhere. I said, how long have you had it? She said, 18 months. So we got her onto the hot and colds. Within 24 hours, she was walking. So simple.
Yeah.
But I said to her, you are not healed yet. You will need to do that maybe for several weeks.
Yeah.
How do you know when to stop? Your foot will tell you. Your foot will tell you. So 18 months she was limping. Now the doctor had put a cortisone injection in and she got relief for 2 weeks. Then it came back. So you see, it's the drugs mask.
Yeah.
And I do acknowledge that in a crisis, masking may be necessary. And I'm very thankful for general anaesthetic when an operation is necessary. But I was talking to a surgeon on the plane one day. We got chatting. And he said, most of the operations I do are unnecessary. Isn't that interesting? He said, I love what you do. I said, well, if I ever have a problem, I'll come to you. He said, oh, I'll never see you.
Yeah.
You're
not the type he'll see. Yeah. Also, Barbara, very importantly, you've completely destroyed, our, thoughts that whenever we use oil, we used to use sunflower oil, all the other, light oils which you can see, and you would say that, see, these oils are bad for your body. Please use only certain things like coconut oil or olive oil. Or you can even have butter and ghee, but you can't have all the other oils. Could you speak about that? Because, the West has been trying to influence India a lot against coconut oil, which is supposed to be the best thing that happened to your complete body, whether it's your hair, your skin, and even internally.
Oh, it's the most stable oil. I look at the molecular structure of oils, and it has no empty spots. And any empty spot is destroyed by light, heat, and oxygen. Yeah. But the coconut oil and even the palm oil, nutritionally, they're very similar. They're the most stable oil. So I'd like to go back. For centuries, people have been eating these oils. And when you look historically at the earth, it depended where you lived. If you lived near the tropics, it was more coconut, it was more palm, and that can be easily extracted, and traditionally was, because it's extracted from the flesh of the plant. And then we go up the planet a bit, we come to the Mediterranean, where olive oil. And olive oil's been used for centuries, and people have been living long, healthy lives eating the olive oil and the coconut and the palm. And also the olive oil is extracted from the flesh of the plant.
Yeah.
So again, women could do it in their kitchens. But probably one of the softest seeds is sunflower. So I've spoken to people from Europe who said that they grew up on sunflower because it can be ground easily because it's a soft seed and the oil extracted. But what happened, it was probably in about the Industrial Revolution, what we're looking at the early, over 100, 120 years ago, high heat and chemical equipment was developed to extract oil from hard seeds.
Yeah.
But the very extraction process totally destroys the oils because those oils, let's have a look at them, canola oil, sunflower, again, if it's extracted that method, it damages it. Also, corn oil, peanut oil, soy oil.
Sesame oil.
Sesame, they all need the high chemical heat equipment, which totally destroys.
So it's the equipment that spoils it. Other than that?
All of those oils have empty spots on their molecular structure. So when they're exposed to heat, they're destroyed.
Absolutely.
Whereas the coconut oil, no empty structure, no empty spots on the structure. The olive oil has one, and that's why you're best to add the olive oil at the end of your cooking. It's best to keep the olive oil in a dark container because it does have one empty spot.
And clarified butter, which is ghee, commonly used in India?
Yes, I understand that, and also the butter and the clarified butter, the ghee, they are also no empty spots. So they are very stable. But the question mark arises is the health status of the cow they've come from. And unfortunately today, the cows are sick because they're exposed to too many
Jersey cows,
chemicals. Yes. And so what happens is the chemicals are, they're concentrated in the fats.
Yeah.
So it would have to be organic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And moving on to today, the problems that we face today. And again, we could go back to the present Gen Z. And you see that they're not able to really understand what is nutrition and what is good for your body. They go according to trends. And what your friend is eating or your peers are eating, that's what is tasty, and that's what's healthy according to them. What would you say to them?
Well, I encourage people to investigate. If somebody says something's healthy, I want to know why. Why are they making that claim? One of the most dangerous foods that can be eaten is those cheap seed oils. They not only damage the tissues, they damage the arterial walls. They're contributing to heart disease. When I was in Sharjah last week at a big convention, a young woman came up to me and she said, "Barbara, you have no idea the effect that you're having on young people." And that just cheers my heart. What's happening? I personally have never put anything on TikTok, but people take my lectures, splice them up, put some amazing graphics with them and put them up on TikTok for 30-second, 1 minute. And it's grabbing the minds of the young people because they've got good minds. And it's appealing to the mind. Let's take stock of what you're eating. What effect is it having on the body? So when I was in Fiji in November, my 20-year-old granddaughter travelled with me. She said, "Nana, my toothbrush is wooden. Nana, look at my shampoo." And she is. Now, I haven't told her she must. I haven't told her you should. In fact, I don't tell anyone what to do. I just give information because I believe the average person is smart enough to work it out for themselves. Just have a look at the ingredients. Just have a look at the effect of those ingredients. And it's not hard to Google those great big names today and find out what they are. And is that what you want for your body? But I haven't made a decision that I will not allow anything harmful to go into my body. And surely this is the last bastion that we have, is our bodies.
What sort of makes me upset, Barbara, is the fact that doctors are never frank with you. For instance, everybody knows that alcohol, causes cancer.
Yes.
But nowhere in the world do they say do not use alcohol. In fact, they make it fashionable for you to have a vodka or a gin, to dance and to have alcohol.
Yes.
So you belong to the jet set age where you have all these things, and you think these are the good things in life. But it's only later in life, as you say, as you move towards your 40s and 50s, you realize these are the things that are causing you cancer. These are the things that, when you go to the doctor, they say, let's remove it surgically, let's do this, let's give you chemo, and let's give you chemo. So that's how,
Yes. I'm not interested in cutting, poisoning, or burning the body. I live in a body that was designed to heal itself. And what a lot of people don't realize is that alcohol is a neurotoxin. And you know what a neurotoxin is? It kills brain cells. It not only kills brain cells, it damages all cells. And we've got a problem in the world today, a problem that's sometimes talked about. It's Alzheimer's or dementia.
Absolutely.
And in Australia, there are 1,700 cases of Alzheimer's being diagnosed weekly. Now, I'm a Bible student. Nowhere in the Bible do I read about Alzheimer's. So this is almost a recent, last 100 years phenomenon. And what alcohol does is it kills brain cells, and those brain cells do not revive, they do not recharge. And so little by little by little, the brain is being damaged. And I don't know anyone that wants Alzheimer's. I don't know anyone that wants to end up with Alzheimer's. And so what we've really got to look at, what are we doing to our bodies now? Yes, you might have alcohol. Yes, you might have a fun night. But how much fun is it when you wake up? When you wake up in the morning, your body's groaning. It's basically saying, please don't do that to me again. It's buy now, pay later.
So this is, in a sense, we are in a cruel world where the truth is never said. And when people like you come and tell us the truth and give us solutions and to better our body and to live longer, living on natural ingredients, I mean, the world is just lapping it up.
Yes.
And that's how you people like you, Barbara, you have a very important role in changing the world. And we're very thankful for that. And this beautiful opportunity to speak to you, because I've been following your methods for the last few years. And I know friends who've been saying that they've cleansed their liver because of you. Many of them say that we follow you, religiously. So thank you. It's been such a privilege speaking to you, Barbara. Thank you for this wonderful session.
I count it a great honor to be able to do what I do, and I thank you for the interview.
Bye-bye.